like every time I go live, Spirit is encouraging me to share some bit of
Yeah.
knowledge. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so it's like if you're going to be live, get into a discussion about something that can inspire someone's mind.
Hmm.
So I have made a recent change in my lifestyle, and I'm currently raw vegan.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I cut out cooked foods. I cut out, gluten. Basically, it's a complete change to the way that I operate as a being.
Hmm.
And I've just been feeling this beautiful wave of clarity, like around everything that I do.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, right now it's really just about the awareness that everything is cyclical.
Hmm.
For me, that's been like so pivotal. Even last night, I was getting these downloads about even how, just like with the plants, there's an equal exchange, and that's a cyclical relationship. It's symbiotic. It's the same way with your life. So
Hmm.
on an annual basis, it's like what you were doing this time last year, you're actually experiencing a rendition of it right now.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh shoot, I'm intended to blow up right now. That's the intention. There's there's a lot of abundance coming through into my frequency, into my field, and I can feel it gracing me, and I'm just grateful.
For sure, for sure. Infinite gratitude on that. How was your juice cleanse, Estarr? Because I know that you had a little juice cleanse not too long ago.
So my juice cleanse actually was cut short. I am love, ashe, ashe. So yes, my juice cleanse was cut short because my juicer was overwhelmed and stopped working. So I was like, okay, you gotta go with the motion and with the ebb and flow of life. So when there's a hurdle, you kind of just bypass it and focus on what you can focus on. So that was actually what inspired me to just go raw, because I was like, if I can't juice to the extent that I wanted to, because the juice I brought, it just can't handle that much juicing. I think I could probably get about 8 ounces daily, but it takes a long time for that to happen. So it's just not sustainable for me in terms of like time to be juicing all day right now. I'm gonna get a Nama juicer though, one of those Nama juices.
Mhm.
Okay, so I was doing research on the juices, but you got to invest in like a commercial high grade juicer in order to like live off of a juicer. So now I have that awareness, but I have all these greens, I got all these fresh vegetables and fruits, and I was like, I gotta use them. So I made some salads. I got the fiber.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I've been raw ever since then, ever since we spoke.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's been beautiful.
How has that been, more sustainable the difference in sensitivity and when you're raw vegan now, when you said before you were eating cooked, do you feel like you had less clarity because you're saying you have more clarity now? What was the feeling before?
Yo, everything, I was just talking to sis about this, but everything is like, it's like there's like a staircase, right? Connecting us to the divine and to basically like the ground level. And so like the earthly plane and higher consciousness. So the heavier your intestinal tract, the heavier you eat as a being, the 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 more suppressed your frequency becomes, and you can't elevate from the earth plane, the earthly plane. So originally I was eating meat, and I was on the standard American diet, which also is an acronym for SAD. So I was on that SAD diet, um, and it was like I couldn't really ascend or astral travel, and then I went plant based. And when I went plant based, that's when my life started to change in so many ways. The people that I'm around, my frequency raised, I'm manifesting like no tomorrow. It's just an awareness of source. Prayer is more intense. I'm able to see my spirit guides. A lot started happening to me on the astral plane when I went plant-based. I've gone raw vegan before. So the original time, the first time I went raw vegan, that's why I say everything's cyclical, because it was this time last year, legitimately this time, on this very day last year, I was raw vegan. And I had just started too. So I'm hearing the call again because everything is cyclical. And so when I was raw vegan back then, there was all these overwhelming cravings that I had. And I also started to feel, interesting enough, like I needed to rest. Like I didn't have as much energy as I did when I was like eating cooked food. And I think it had everything to do with my mental space. I was just functioning from a space of like anxiety, and I really, really was craving like starches and carbohydrates, but not in the form of fruit. It was like I wanted denser food because that was where I was within my frequency, you know, that was the compatibility. But now, you know, I'm in my own apartment. I have like this clarity of self and awareness of self. And I mean, I know how to, like, I actually prefer to eat lighter now. So my frequency is more aligned with raw food. I actually haven't had any cravings. And when I do have cravings, I substitute it very easily for like a dried fruit, because I'm realizing it was my body craving things that were dehydrated. And so it's just like now I have this awareness and I'm like, yeah, the clarity is real.
Sure. You know, thank you for that testimony, Estarr, because we do that dance often, the dance with dehydration. You know, it's like back and forth, dehydration, rehydration, dehydration. And then, you know, I like how you said it's cyclical, like you've come full circle now at the same time since last year. And it's interesting because you just remind me of something I saw in your story where you talked about becoming a vibrational match, you know? And it seems like that's what's happened, you know, as like a result of this new change, it changed everything. Yeah.
Legitimately, legitimately. And another thing that I can, like, literally, another testimony would be for the raw vegan, um, is it heightens your ability. Yo, wagwan, brother conscious, wagwan. Yo, it heightens your, it heightens your ability to manifest things into the physical realm. I actually received my apartment after a 21 raw vegan fast, and then a 3-day dry fast. So yeah, and my parents named me Estarr. I named myself Estarr. But during my fast, when I went dry, I was called to read the Bible and to read Esther's book in the Bible. And the awareness came to me that Esther in the Bible, actually, she did the same thing. She fasted to manifest in the physical realm. So I was like, oh my God, this is like legitimately a tool for me, you know, on my journey. And it's definitely something I want to share. Like, if there's anything that, you know, you really want to manifest in the physical realm, fast. You know, your spirit guides may tell you, hey, don't eat solid foods. Listen to them. Or if they tell you, hey, don't eat or drink, listen to them. And if they tell you, hey, we just go plant-based because you eating some nasty shit, go plant-based, listen to them, you know? And that's going to help you accelerate your manifestation capabilities.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love this. You know, it's like when you're breaching and you're surpassing, you know, breaking the boundaries of your belief, going beyond the realm of your previous reality. You know, it's like having that new mentality. I love this, the way that you're able to do it so effortlessly. And then when you talked about dry fasting, because that's very interesting, 3-day dry fast, how did you feel during that time?
I felt dead. Like, I felt dead. Like, like cause y'all, like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm very, what's the word? I'm very expressive.
Mhm.
So when I feel something, I mean, I really feel it. So at the time, when I say I was feeling dead, like I couldn't even move my body. Like I was just like, if I move, I'm gonna want some water. Like it came to a point where, no, I don't even need food. I just want some water. And like, but then I realized through it all, because I didn't fast alone. I was fasting with a group. And I also encourage, people to fast with, a group, fast with your friends, that build that connection with the people around you to, make that change that in your lifestyle. But yeah, when I was with them, everybody else was chilling. I guess I kind of started feeling like I was overreacting, but it was that process where I realized that you can ingest food and receive hydration from things that are not physical. You know, you can receive hydration from, the air that we breathe. You could receive nutrients and food substance from knowledge. Pick up a book. So that's what it taught me, because I was really in this. I thought truly that I needed these physical things in order to solidify myself or make myself feel more connected. But then I realized that everything we need is already provided for us. And that's why I was being called to fast and just be appreciative for what I actually have right now. And that's another key to manifestation. You have to let it go and trust that it's inside of your soul. What you desire is here. And I just realized something about when you want something, it's because you don't have it. So stop wanting things and just be what you want,
Mm. Woo! Woo! This church, I love this, and it's so true. And it sounds like it gave you even more gratitude, more gratitude for what you already have within and what you already have around you. Yeah. Yeah. That's a wonderful practice to have, and it sounds like you have that practice because I've seen you come on to your lives, to different sessions, to different reels and different discussions where you just come on with this high vibrational energy, all of a sudden just wholeness and vibrations, infinite gratitude, you pour out love, 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 It's great.
Yes.
It's cool to see where that comes from.
Yes. It comes from putting in the work, y'all. Like it comes from putting in the work. Like, 2 years ago, I was selling dope in the hood, smoking in the peas. Okay. Like I was in a completely different state of mind. And now I'm like in my own apartment, meditating, elevating, reading about comedic practices and eating raw food. You just have to focus on what you want to see and just be that. Be what you want to see in the world. Like I was just on a train. Spirit had me go on a train with a book, like with a speaker, and legit, like I was like, just be what you want to see. I was literally preaching. I'm realizing I must be a preacher. It must be inside of me to want to educate people about the God in them, and that's what I'm out here for. But with that being said, like, have you ever engaged in a fast?
For sure. For sure. I definitely engage, but the way that I put it is more of a lifestyle, kind of like
Yeah.
how you were saying the sad diet, the standard American diet. My diet, or somebody told me one time, Estarr, they said diet is like an acronym for do I eat that,
Do I eat that?
do I eat
Hmm.
that diet? So I started to flip that on its head. And when somebody
Mhm.
influenced me with the idea of taking a solid food vacation, I was like, well, why would I have a vacation? Why not make the vacation a staycation? You
Mm.
know,
Mm.
live in this lifestyle or live in this vibration for a little while longer. So that's the way we've been living. That's the energy we've been given. So thank you for asking. And really, it seems transformational what you're talking about. You said just a couple years ago or a few years ago, you were in a completely different mode, completely different area or state of mind as well. And that makes me realize why you put in your bio revolutionary.
Yes.
You put it Renaissance woman, revolutionary. That's revolutionary to see that kind of change in that short amount of time. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just want y'all to know. it's going up. Okay, for real. Because this time last year, I said, Spirit, please just put me in my apartment, and Spirit put me in my apartment. You feel me? I'm saying, Spirit, please, like, honestly, it's not even a please no more. It's more like, I'm famous. I'm traveling the world. I'm singing in front of thousands of people, and I'm on tour, okay? And I'm building sustainable homes and spaces for people to experience what it feels like to live holistically. And I'm raw vegan. You already know what's happening. So I'm like, I'm just trusting the process, man. You get to write your own story. You know what I mean? You get to write your own story every single day. You know, I have a reel that I posted, and I was like, I have the pen today and I'm writing my life out. Because that's literally what you do every single day. Spirit pulls up, they like, yo, here's the pen, here's your paper. What do you have to say about your life today? What are you gonna do to solidify those spells? You know? So that's really all it is. Get creative.
Yeah, and you gave us a touch just now, Estarr, with the vocals. You know, you be giving a little glimpse into it, you know, a little touch every now and then. With the singing yogi, you know, where do you feel like you combine those two, the singing and the yogi? How do they harmonize for you?
Oh, I actually taught a class where I sang the entire time. So it was and I rhymed with every line. I kid you not. The way I see it is, when you come to my concerts, it's not just about, right? It's not just about me singing. It's also about you opening up your throat and your heart space. So we're gonna do some sort of movement. I want it to be the awareness that I'm able to sing this way because of the work that I have put in. You feel me? You may not feel inclined to be a singer. You may feel inclined to be a painter, but at the same time, bada bing, bada boom, I painted that. You know what I mean? So I'm showing people that you don't have to subscribe to one box. You feel me? One thing I've learned about children, all children, is they are natural yogis. All of them. I go around them. I do a couple of handstands. You feel me? I do a prasarita. I'm in a mayurasana, a pincha. You know what I mean? They all like, what is she doing? And they're trying to emulate me. And that's when I realized that, like, in our essence, we are all yogis. And that's why I really want to be able to teach as many people yoga, because yoga has changed my life. Yoga is why I sing. Every day I wake up, I'm on my mat for at least 30 minutes plus. Sometimes I'm on my mat for an hour and a half. Sometimes I'm on my mat for 2 hours. Yoga has changed my life, and it's made me more disciplined, self-disciplined. So putting in that work for my body to see my body do things that I could have only dreamt of. That's why I wake up and I do this and I commit myself, because it's not just the physical aspect of it all, but it's also the mental aspect of it all. And there's something called a drishti, right? A drishti is your focus. What are you focusing on? And it's also used to maintain balance. And so, like, throughout your practice, you have to bring that drishti, bring your focus inwards, so that you can focus on your inner realm and your inner world and what's happening with your body as you're doing these movements. Why are you doing these movements? And do you feel any tension? Because there's different postures for that you can you can start doing and implementing in your practice. There's a guru in all of us. So my intention is to make people aware that you are me. Like, I put it in my music. I am you, you are me. If there's anything you love about me, it's because it's in you. I'm a reflection. And I'm just like, yo, spirit, that I'm here to be a clear reflection from my reflections, to see the greatness in them. You feel me? That's why it's like, my concerts won't be like no other concert. You come, but you come for genuine healing. you're not just gonna come to see me be great. You're great too. You know what I mean? And that's the awareness that I've gained.
Yeah, I love this. You know, thank you for that divine reflection. Thank you for that divine connection, you know, bringing it all in, bringing it together with a message of wholeness, you know, wholeness and balance. Because just like you were saying, it's almost like how we do anything is how we do everything. And what you do for the body, you also do for the mind. So it's like your flexible body, flexible mind, you discipline body, discipline mind. So it makes sense that the two go hand in hand. And, you know, we see a lot of people flexing for the gram, but Estarr, you literally flexing on the gram. Like when I came to your page, I was like, oh, she's for real. She ain't playing no games out here. So when I seen the feet came over the head and touched the ground on the other side, I said, okay, okay. You know, so when did you acquire all these asanas, and, you know, when did yoga really hit your life path, you know?
So back when I was in middle school,
Mm,
they used to call me Catwoman. Um, yeah, because I was always doing this.
mm,
Like before I knew what yoga was, I was doing yoga. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was over there attempting to do flips, and I always had the ability to put my legs behind my head.
mm,
Like there were certain things in my practice that it takes people years to uncover that I just naturally knew how to do with my body. Like I honestly and truthfully, y'all, I'm naturally a yogi. Like I didn't know any of the names, and some of the postures I do, I still don't know any of the names of. Like I'm just naturally doing this. Like I'm like, what you want me to? This is what my body is doing. I'm listening to it and letting it be. And when I was younger, my mother noticed this in me. I was always, like I said, always doing something flexible. Flexibility was my thing. So I was either in a split, my legs behind my head. I was, walking on my hands. I was doing something, you know what I mean? And my mom put me in gymnastics because she saw that. And she also put me in dance. I'm actually really, really good dancer. So, from a little girl, I was in those classes, but I wasn't in there long. But what I've realized about myself is, yeah, I've always had this capacity to be great in terms of like flexibility and movement. There's different in intelligence, and I definitely have like a physiological intelligence. Like I've always just loved to learn about the anatomy and the physiology of the body. Like that's why when I was younger, I thought I was going to be a doctor because of like I was so intrigued by the body. Like I thought, like, y'all, do y'all not see how incredibly amazing these vessels are? Like I'm able to do a split. I'm able to hold up my body, but how? Like that was always my pontification. I was like, what are we doing? How does this work? So yeah, that's how I got great at yoga.
mhm. Wow. So it's like you amazed yourself at what your body wants to do. Yeah, yeah. So it was like blowing you away, your capability, you know, to be able to bend in that way, to be able to bend back, bend this way. It showed you what we are capable of as human beings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The body is amazing. The body is amazing for sure. When did it kind of come into the picture of yoga in terms of maybe in different deities or different Indian folklore or different mythologies? Like when did you bring that as well
Oh
into the
man, y'all, when I tell you I'm gonna write a book about my life, like, cause basically I was on a mushroom journey, right? One of the sisters that I knew, she gave me some mushrooms and she was like, yo, you gotta take these. And I just, I took them, and I took them on my own time though. At the time I was doing like DoorDash and whatnot, with the Mexicans, and I was on my little bike, and I took them on the bike. And that was when I became deeply aware of the power of love. Love legitimately was change, and I was like so tapped in and aware, because every street I was passing, it was like as soon as I got to the street, the light turned green. And it was that way until I got to my destination. And it was like spirit was driving me. I wasn't doing anything. Like spirit took me to my grandmother's house. And at my grandmother's house, oh look, there go my brother. He just joined the chat. See what I mean? Everything is so cyclical. But like, yeah, I was at my grandmother's house. You know, auntie, we call her auntie, right? So I just reach. And you know, I'm singing. I'm just cause spirit had these literal like subtitles dropped. Like I could see them. Like it wasn't even words though, it was frequencies. And I saw the hertz. And I legitimately was just like, ah, I was just singing. Whatever it was that was coming through, I just channeled it. And then I started chanting. Like, so Saraswati came through, Ganesh came through, Bastet came through, and like Kali came through. And it all really started hitting me. I saw them when I got into the shower. I didn't stop singing. I just kept singing. I went into the shower, and that was when I literally saw these deities. And I was like, whoa. Like I said, surrendering completely to the music, which is what brought me to this awareness. Another thing that I would encourage people to do, if you want to connect with the deity, or you want to connect with honestly any deity, a Kemetic deity, you know, an Indian deity, whatever, sing to them, sing for them, make music for them. Music is what we are. You feel me? Our heartbeat is the drum, right? And we have a flute. Here's the flute. We got a flute in us. You know what I mean? We legitimately are just music. And if you could hear yourself on a vibrational level, it would sound like a symphony. If you're really in alignment with your spirit, it will sound like a symphony that's all on one accord. And that one accord is the spine. And so I became aware of this when I was on that journey. But I got so afraid, man. I got so afraid because I didn't know what I was seeing. It was really blowing my mind. But now that I have an awareness and a deeper awareness, because after that day, it wasn't like it just went away. It was still in my consciousness. It was like the seed had been planted. And ever since that day, I just started channeling. So even when I painted Ganesh, like, there was I had to do I didn't do the seance. A sister in here was doing the seance because spirit told me to sit and watch that shit. So I was like, I ain't exorcism nothing. Like, but definitely there was a darker dopey, I would call it in Jamaican. I'm call it a dopey. A dopey then released into my space, and spirit was like, you need to paint Ganesh. I said, what? They said, paint Ganesha. Paint Ganesha on this wall, because he must be facing this side. So I was like, okay. I painted him. I got him out. I released it, and it was like it cleansed the entire space. So like I said, everything when it comes to like these deities and these entities, they call upon you. Like the Orishas even, they will call upon you and you will feel them in spirit, you know? And that's why I also encourage people to get into some sort of divination. You know, there's like, I think it's like I forgot what it's called though. All right. You could do divination with a simple book, y'all. You don't necessarily need to have tarot cards or anything, although I encourage you to get them. But you can get a book, any book, and just close your eyes and flip to the page that feels in alignment with your spirit. And the first thing you see is what is meant for you, you know, and that's the beauty about life. Everything is intentional.
Yeah. Oh man, that's powerful. What a powerful journey, you know? And just to be able to have that during a mushroom trip on the bicycle, doing DoorDash around the streets, and then you said the green lights were just all on go. You said Saraswati came through, so that's the knowledge, the wisdom, right?
Also
You said Ganesh.
music.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah.
Ganesh came through. That's blowing all obstacles is coming out your way. And you said the goddess Kali. Remind me about Kali. What about Kali
Okay.
do you
Kali's a
connect?
bit of she's a bit darker. I'm getting a lot of like war. I'm getting a lot of like fierce energy, fire. When I had channeled her, she actually was like in the form of like a sister that I know. Like we as vessels, we embody these frequencies and these spirits. So you know, you may meet Obatala, right? Or you may meet somebody who has attained Christ consciousness and they may be channeling Jesus. You feel me? Like, so that's the awareness that the people you know can embody these entities, because you're not necessarily your name. You are an energy, you are a frequency. And that's exactly what these spirits are as well. It's like, you feel me, like Bastet, that's the house cat. You feel me, the protector of children, the protector of women. So that energy can be channeled through anyone, and they can channel by, by definition, Bastet, even Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. You feel me? These are just entities and energy. So when I saw Kali, it was almost like she had her tongue out, and it was like she was real, like it felt almost like she wanted to fight me. That was kind of the energy, and that was honestly what like made me call upon my friend at the time, who I thought was my friend at least. And I was like, yo, what's happening? You know what I mean? But that was my awareness. That was my connection to the spirit at the time. So
Wow. And you know, Estarr, when you talk about your connection to spirit, how has that connection been when you're listening to that voice? Because you said that there were times when, okay, spirit is telling you paint Ganesh on the wall, but on this wall, where does that voice come from, or where do you feel that voice is when you hear it?
it's like, y'all, am I gonna hold you? I can hear. It's almost like someone is whispering. It's legit. It's like somebody just grazed me and whispered something into my ear, and it's so lovingly too. It's never a ah! It's never, they never yell. It's always a soft whisper, and it's like it also nudges you. It just braces you. And that to me is my awareness of spirit. Also, when you're getting a deep divine download, you'll feel your crown absolutely stimulating and vibrating, and you'll get a full body shock, from your crown to your root. You'll get a full body shock, and with that shock comes a message. So sometimes it could be as simple as somebody just softly whispering something into my ear, or a full blown spinal wave of information, and it's really up to you to decode it, because you could very well could disconnect yourself from spirit and say, oh no, that's something else, that's not real. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people do that. And that's why a lot of people's spirits be up and leaving. You know what I mean? It almost happened to me. So listen to those voices. Even if you feel like you're going crazy, listen to those voices. You don't have to act on them. You don't have to be reactive, but just listen and feel what it is that you're receiving.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for that advice. And if there's somebody who's trying to look for a method or a technique, or even just a way for them to connect more with spirit or receive more of those divine downloads, how would you instruct them?
Okay, you got to sit still. You really got to sit still. Stop talking. Stop expecting. Just feel. I have a whole song. So if I can't be there with you in person, listen to my song. I will instruct you through my song. That was the intention of the song Feel, was to help people connect with themselves and be more receptive to spirit. That was the download. And even when I was making that song, it just flowed out of me. So that's when I realized that was the intention. So like I said, sit still and just feel. If you want to connect with spirit, you are spirit. That's the awareness. So it's like there is no separation between you and spirit. It is one. And the vessel, although you are the vessel is temporary. The vessel, you will have to leave the vessel at some point, but the spirit is infinite. So that is the awareness. Just sit still, listen, feel. The spirit resides in the frequency of your body. So it's in your heartbeat, you know, it's in your breath. That's spirit. It's the etheric aspect of you. So when you could sit still and just observe, don't judge it, because there's different types of spirits, but they all need an opportunity to express themselves. And when you don't give them that opportunity, then you shut them out. And that's not just shutting out the dark ones, you shutting out the light ones too. So it's important to balance it and just listen. You know what I mean? In a
Yes.
still small voice, God speaks. Yes.
Beautiful explanation, Estarr. Beautiful. Thank you for that breakdown. And we need this today because, like you said, it's built through stillness, and
Mm-hmm.
it can erase all illness. Just
Mm.
being, I love this. It's like when you talk about people's spirits leaving and how some people, that's how they're up out of here, and you said that almost happened to you. If you can recall, what was that situation when you felt it was almost at that point?
I I was in the darkest space of my life, y'all. I was in a very, very abusive relationship. I was living in a dark household where people did not respect me. And I felt trapped. I felt trapped. And so afraid. Um and I realized that it was happening after I looked at my face, and my ex-boyfriend, he punched me in my face, and I had a black eye, and then he busted my lip, so my whole face looked different. And I looked like I got abused, legit. And so my spirit, I turned around and I looked at my sacral. So if you don't know what your sacral is, that's the space right at your lower back. So I looked at my sacral, and there was this dark, like it was like a dark circle. It looked like my sacral was completely blocked. And my spirit said to me in that still, calm voice, if you continue down this path, I will have no choice but to leave. And I said, whoa, like it was incredibly clear. It was incredibly clear when it was provided to me. And it was still calm, even though I was honestly very turbulent internally. There was that calm voice that said, I will leave if you do not care for yourself. And it was like in that moment, I said, I need to do better, because the way that what I also received was that if my spirit leaves, I would be dead. Whether my body is like, still functional or not. If you have no spirit, you are not here. You're just a husk. You know what I mean? Something else will embody you, but the spirit is of love. So that was why it was so calming and so sweet when it contacted me. Um, but yeah, that's what it felt like. That's really what it felt like when I became aware. And yeah, that was my experience.
Wow, wow. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing that experience because, even going back there mentally, I can only imagine, how it would feel to be in that situation. And what was it that you did afterwards, when you received that awareness, when you received that ultimatum, that this is it, if you don't turn around, this is what's about to happen. How did you change from there?
180. There's 180. I made a commitment to be plant-based. I made a commitment to wake up every day and do yoga. I made a commitment to speak nothing but life over my body, over the people around me, no matter what. No matter what, I made that commitment. It got it even while I was doing that, I was being tested because I was surrounded by so many dark entities, and they started to see that my light was only brightening, even though something so dark happened to me. And they were like trying to oppress me, you know, and blame me and actually physically hurt me. After that experience, I almost died 2 times. Like I was, and then by people I actually know. So it was like me making that change it was infuriating to them to see that she wasn't crumbled, and I just kept on the path. I said, do what you want to do. I'm gonna still love you. And it was like, what everybody's just like appalled and upset. But that was when, you know, my grandmother, I was sleeping and she came into the room and she was yelling at me. She said, Estarr, I want you out. You have to come out of me. She's yelling. And I said, okay. And I made a decision to pack my stuff up that same day. And I went on Craigslist. I got a room. Even though I had to pay like $1K a month just to be here. And like, I was doing this all off of my own energy. Like, and I was at the time only 18. Like, but I was like, okay, I gotta do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just got kicked out. I gotta figure it out. So from there on out, I just, like, the person you see now was being cultivated. That's it. Every single day, wake up, do yoga. Every single day, 30 minutes of meditation. Every single day, food preparation and prayer. And then every single day, do something for somebody else. What is your act of kindness today? You know what I mean? Like, go outside and just impact somebody's life positively. This is all going to add up. Like, I just, it was like nothing else mattered. That was my reprogramming, and I stuck to it.
Yeah. And thank you for being in service. You know, we can all see it. We all see the way that you give. You know, you give to the world, you shine your light so bright. And thank you for demonstrating, Estarr, the difference between making a choice and making a commitment. You know, a commitment is something that I feel like the root word of commitment is almost like to cut off, to say, come what may, you know, come what may, until, like, I'm doing this no matter what, you know. And that's major. That's, yeah, to have that resolve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the sisters said, would you say that was the Holy Spirit? Yeah, Christ consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Christ
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. The Holy Spirit, it resides inside of us, you know. The cranial is like a cranial cavity. You know, we have like spinal fluid that is dormant in our root chakra. So that's the whole process of Kundalini awakening. I actually started doing Kundalini practices as of, like, I would say about last year. That's when I really was like, I mean, an hour a day Kundalini, like an hour a day. And that's in addition to 30 minutes of actual physical movement. Or there was days where I was really, really on it, and it was an hour of vinyasa, hour of Kundalini, hour of meditation. It was just, and I was in it every day. So what I could say is, we are God. God resides in us. When you connect, the more you give, is something they say in Kundalini. The more you give, the more you receive. So the more breath that you is, because there's things called kriyas, and kriyas are just sequences of breathwork techniques. So the more you practice, the more you will receive from the divine. So that was exactly what it was for me.
Blessings. And, you know, Estarr, when you were talking about making those commitments to yourself and for your own health, you know, what do you feel like makes the difference for a person on that level of change? Because it's almost like they say we don't make profound changes unless it's due to inspiration or desperation, you know, and sometimes it's a mixture of the two. So do you feel like it has to get to the point where somebody is desperate that they start to discover new meaning in their life, or could they be inspired to do something? Like, is it longer lasting when it gets to that point?
You know, one thing I've realized is that is the purpose of negativity.
Hmm.
The purpose of negativity is to actually inspire you. And I mean, you could see it how you want to see it, but it is only going to strengthen your light to be in dark places. You feel me? When you're in the dark places, it provides you with an opportunity to shine. That's so you know, whether you identify more so with desperation or inspiration, I think they are synonymous, because the situation is always um is always based off of your perspective. So you can be in a very, very horrid situation, but feel this intense inspiration in that situation. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Or you can interpret it as desperation. But if you get to the same goal, then that wasn't really the folk. That wasn't really what's important. What's important is the actions that you take being in that situation. I wouldn't say that I was desperate. I wouldn't say that, because I realized that I'm a goddess. It was like when I realized that I'm a goddess, and the goddess also, there's a goddess in every man too, and there's a God in every woman. So I realized that I'm a goddess, and I also have a God in me. There's a God in me. And so I was like, no, everything I need is inside. So I don't have to be desperate for something outside of me. It's coming. And it was just that awareness that I just had to trust myself and trust my soul. And that was really the stronger my connection became with spirit, the stronger my connection became with my spirit and my soul, was when my life drastically began to change. And I love you too. And that's honestly like the that's the goal. That's the goal, y'all. The goal is connect with the divine in you. You know, it's not outside of you. And I think with religion, because I grew up in church, you know, they named me Estarr. So, you know, and it wasn't any church. It was a Pentecostal Lifeline church with beer Jamaicans on Yadi in there. You know? So there's a different energy. If you ever been to a Jamaican church, there's a different energy to that, y'all. Like it's like yo, I literally was getting licked when them say lick. Oh shit, I'm not gonna lick you. I'm not gonna lick it on. That means they're gonna hit you. So they hit me in church, y'all. Like legit. Like that was what being in a Jamaican church was like for me. Okay, yeah. So the God is in you. Don't look any further. The God is in you. You feel me? Focus on self and source. I always say that, self and source.
Focus on self and source. This is
Self
the
and
mess. Thank you for the patois. I love the patois. Oh man, it's just wonderful just listening to you speak, you know, and you don't just speak that language, you know, the patois, the Jamaican, or you don't just speak this or that, but you speak love. You speak from the heart, like you said, the drum, you know, instrument. You're finely tuned. Your instrument is finely tuned. We are in harmony, and singing your song. You know, the spine is divinely aligned, so you always on time. So thank you so much for just bringing this energy here. I had no expectation. I was like, yo, we go vibe in here, we go do what we do. But this has been a wonderful testimony for anybody to have, and I know that if I was touched, somebody else in here was touched as well. So just thank you for coming on today. Yeah,
I appreciate you.
much love.
As a sister said, the religion concept is confusing her, and that she's in fight with spirit right now and flesh.
Mm.
Oh, I know spirit is calling me forth, but a part of me is scared to transform. Yeah, just trust yourself. That's all I can say. Trust yourself and believe in yourself. Believe that you can accomplish what it is that you seek, you know? Like I said, and I feel like it's a really, really, like, if we closing it out, I want to close it out on this note. You need not, you need not just be. You don't have to need anything or desire anything. Just be it. That that is literally the sequence. Once you realize what you want is already inside, you become it. Just be source.
Ashe,
I
ashe.
say.
Love it. You know, right before we go, if there was somebody who this is the very first time witnessing you, Estarr, and you had any services or any areas that you would like for people to come receive you in that capacity, what would you let people know to come and receive that?
So I do private sessions
Mm-hmm.
in my home studio, which includes a sound healing, a body work, a guided meditation and vinyasa flow, and also breath work. So basically, I will take you through my entire rising routine, but I'll just tailor it towards you and your essence and your frequency after we hop on a consultation call, so I can figure out what exactly you need to receive, and then I'll just be of service. So yeah, DM me if you're interested in experiencing that with me, and we can hop on a consultation call and schedule an appointment.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Much love, Estarr. Much love.
All right, I love you, Jerome.
You too. Take care.
Holla.